Hiya, and welcome back to Homecoming Morenatsu Revisited. The game that teaches us that you can take Hiroyuki out of Minasato, but you can't take the Minasato out of Hiroyuki. Anyways, let's just hop right in. To November instead. It's not November anymore. At the pier, we follow the signs leading to Tamagawa Family Parasailing. Standing underneath a large tent, we see a young wolf looking confused. Hello. Sorry, you surprised me. Haven't you seen a Labrador and a lion walking around here? I was supposed to take them for a ride, but... Oh, about that. Yeah, we've seen them. They're our friends Kyoji and Sotaro. That's what their names were. We ran into them earlier. They gave us this ticket for a ride with you guys. Is that so? I was worried I lost them. I went down to the boat to set things up, and when I came back, they were gone. Taro chickened out at the last second. The driver shakes his head. I don't know why. It's not like this is dangerous or anything. Whatever, we still got paid for it, and you two have the ticket now. Yeah! The driver politely bows. Name's Inu, what's yours? I'm Hiroyuki, and this is my friend Kounosuke. Hey! Nice to meet you. Now, if you'll follow me down to the boat. We're gonna die. Alright, before I strap you in, I just need to go over a few safety precautions. Okay. Hold on, let me grab my camera. Oh, is that gonna be alright, Inu? He pulls out a small note from his pocket. Huh. Running his finger down the list, he comes across what he's looking for. Ah! Tawagama Family Parasailing is not responsible for any property lost, damage, or otherwise during one of our famed sky adventures. He looks up from the paper at me. So, if he can handle the chance he might lose it, then I guess it's okay. Don't be a problem. I'd never lose this thing. Now hurry up and strap me in, I can't wait. Alright then, always happy to see customers excited for their first time. My husband doesn't lose anything. After reviewing the safety measures, Inu belts us in and begins driving the boat. Before long, we find ourselves hovering above the beach below. Woohoo! Yahoo! This is so awesome, Hiroyuki. And I die. I am scared of heights. I would die. The view is breathtaking. I can see the road we drove in on, the island in the distance, the striking cliff faces. Look down there, you can see our friends! I follow the direction Kounosuke's pointing in. It's hard to tell from up here because they look so small, but it seems a few of them started a game of volleyball. Jumping in the air, Kuya spikes the ball so hard it flies right over Juichi's head and lands in the sand behind him. Juichi doesn't seem too pleased with the result. I need to take a picture of this! In the water below, I see Kyoji, Taro, and Shun splashing around. Are they playing a game of water tag? Noticing us fly by, Kyoji looks up and waves. Look at that, Kounosuke! Kyoji's waving at us. Oh! He and I both look over and wave back at him. Kyoji smiles and points at us, prompting Shun and Taro to look up and wave too. Hiroyuki? He holds the camera up to my face and snaps a quick picture. That's revenge for earlier. I've rubbed my eyes. That hurt. Hey, Hiro? His voice is a little softer and he pauses for a moment. I'm glad I got to do this with you. He smiles at me before facing away. He continues to take pictures of everything he sees. So am I, Kounosuke. From up here, the way the sun shines in his eyes, it only ever happens when he's truly happy. I feel myself smiling widely back at him. Seeing Kounosuke this way gives me a familiar, joyful feeling in my stomach. That's called love! Or food poisoning. Ugh, I'm tired. I glance around the bus, only to notice that almost everyone is asleep. It's been a long time since we last went out like this. Sachiko. I turn back in my seat to stare at Tatsuki, a smile coming to my face when I see him sleeping. Sachiko. Is the dashi for father's mail done? There's dust collected on the windowsill. Are you cleaning well enough? Like you said, people are truly... Shaking my head in amusement, I sit back on my seat. Seriously, who the hell is Sachiko? A soft tapping noise suddenly catches my attention, and I look around in an attempt to find it. Sure enough, it's Shun tapping away on his portable game console. Of course he'd bring that. I'm unable to fight back a yawn as I stretch my limbs. Maybe I should take a nap too? As if reading my mind, I see Shun turn around in his seat. He stares at me and nods his head. With a smile, he turns back around and settles in his seat. And after a moment, he's back to tapping at his game. Outside the window, everything is dyed red by the setting sun. The sea, the mountains, the sky. It almost feels like I'm in a different world. I lean my head against the window and join my friends. Honk shoe, honk shoe. August 9th. I give another stretch in my chair as I try to make myself comfortable. As I feel another spasm in my back, I hear the unmistakable sound of my grandfather's laugh. Yeah, looks like you're feeling the reward from a good day out. My cheeks go hot as I return to eating my breakfast while Grandma gives him a good-natured glare. I'm glad to hear that you had fun, dear. It sounds like everything went great. With a chuckle, I rub the back of my head and nod. Yeah, but now I'm wondering if I should do anything today. My grandparents look at each other, and for a moment, I see what looks like a grin from the both of them. As a matter of fact, I hear the bookstore is getting a new shipment today. If memory serves, you were quite the young bookworm. Once again, my cheeks burn and I look away in embarrassment, earning a chuckle from both of my grandparents. Oh, it's nothing to be ashamed of, dear. Do you remember the stories I used to read to you when you were younger? Feelings of nostalgia once again flash through my mind. With a smile, I nod in response. Yeah, I loved those stories. I remember wanting to be just like some of the characters. Grandma smiles at me as Grandpa stands up and slowly makes his way to the living room. She gives an amused sigh as she looks over at the table where he was sitting. As usual, your grandfather leaves his dishes behind. Just as I offer her a grin, I suddenly jump to hear the unmistakable sound of the phone ringing. Before Grandma can stand up, I'm already on my feet moving towards the phone. Hello, Nishimura residence. This is Hiroyuki speaking. Hi, hero! A grin comes to my face as I hear the familiar voice from the other end of the line. It's a voice I've grown all too accustomed to hearing lately. Hey, Tora. I hope I didn't interrupt anything. I shake my head, even though he can't see me. Nope, just having breakfast with my grandparents. At least you didn't yell as loudly this morning. I can almost see the embarrassed smile on his face as the tiger pauses and takes a breath. Yeah. But anyway, I wanted to know if you wanted to come hang out at my place around lunchtime. I pause for a moment and weigh up my options. Well, Hiya. Mustard meow meow. Okay, I do not have access to the console, so I can't actually change his name to Mustard Meow Meow. Yeah, we're going to the bookstore. Actually, I might have to give it a miss today, Tora. I'm sorry. From the other end of the line, I can hear the tiger breathe a heavy sigh. It's fine. You're probably still tired from yesterday. Rub the back of my head and give a timid chuckle. Yeah. I sigh again as the tiger hangs up the phone. He sounded disappointed. I wonder what he had planned. Rubbing the back of my head, I replace the receiver and head back to the dining area. Torihiko again? As I sit back at the table, I nod in response to my grandmother's question. I glance over at her and force a small smile. He wanted me to visit him at around lunchtime. I didn't really feel like it though, so I had to turn him down. Oh, that boy. My mouth full of food, I decide to just glance at Grandma and raise an eyebrow. She chuckles and shakes her head, her tail swishing behind her. Never mind, dear. Just finish your breakfast now. Clean up once you're done. I swallow my mouth full of food and flash her a sheepish smile. After I finish my breakfast, I shower and change into clean clothes. Thinking back to Tora's phone call, I try to imagine what he wanted, but then shake my head. I shouldn't dwell too much on it. I've got plenty of time this summer to spend with Tora. Pausing for a moment to stretch, I decide to go for a walk. Ah! What a beautiful morning! The sun's out, it's not too warm yet, and if Grandpa was right, a new shipment of books is supposed to arrive today at the bookstore! Finally! I'm gonna get my hands on some new issues of my favorite manga. It's hard being isolated here in Minasato. I've learned the bookstore here is a delayed shipment, getting new copies anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks later than the rest of Japan. So painful! I frown to myself as I think of my friends. At least I'll have my old bookstore to go to when I get back to Osaka. These guys are stuck with what they have. Mr. Nishimura? I'm scared half to death when a familiar face runs up from behind and stops in front of me. Sotaro? I clench my chest. All these surprises lately can't be good for my heart. What you up to? The lion doesn't seem to notice the lack of my using his nickname. No! I finally calmed down enough to voice a coherent response. I was on my way to the bookstore. I heard they got a new shipment today. Yar! That's where I'm heading too. My eyes widen and I look at him in excitement. Really? What are you going to get? I want to get a new manga. No kidding, that's exactly what I'm going for! Huh, I didn't expect to have something like this in common with Taro. That's pretty cool to find out. What ones do you like? I'm a big fan of Pirate King. I've been following it since it started. Please don't laugh at the next one. I nod and give him a small smile. I promise. The lion's face stains a faint pink and he rubs the back of his head. That's like Yokotawa to Neko. He likes the misadventures of Lion Cat too. And here I was thinking I was the only one. I can't let him know it's one of my favorites, though it's kind of embarrassing. Oh, Yokotawa to Neko is pretty good, but it's not the best. Before we know it, we find ourselves walking into the air-conditioned bookstore. Well, what's your favorite, Mr. Nishimura? Huh? Oh, well... Drat, I knew I was going to ask that eventually. Maybe I'll... Wait a second. Is that Kounosuke over there? Standing in the manga corner of the store is a familiar tanuki with his face buried in a magazine. Hey, Kounosuke! Try waving to get his attention, but like usual, he's in his own world. Dad figures. I look back at Taro, who's giving me a confused look. You want me to try? Go ahead, knock yourself out. I put my hands behind my head and kick back. It's not like this is gonna work. Hi, Kounosuke, what you reading? Walks up and taps Kounosuke on the shoulder. Sotaro! I didn't see you there. What's up? No way. I didn't know you were into manga. Of course I am. Hiroyuki and I used to hang out all the time here waiting for... Oh. Yeah, now he notices me. You're here too, Hiroyuki. Yup. I unfold my arms and join the others around the manga display. Bend over a bit so I can see what Konosuke's reading. Is that the new issue of Jump? Well, as new as Minasato is gonna get at least. Uh-huh, there's a new storyline about to start in Ryu Panic. Is the next spark to Pirate King in there? Gets really excited when he mentions the name of his favorite manga. Ah, you actually like Pirate King? That series is so lame. How many chapters are there now? It keeps going and going and going. Actually, how many chapters are there of One Piece? How many One Piece chapters? Oh shit, hang on, let me turn on the brightness. Ah, fuck. Not the display off. There is, hang on, let me show you what I'm looking at as best as I can. There is 1,128 chapters. What? I knew there was over 900 episodes, but like, what? That is, wow. Just, wow. Wrong fucking button. I snicker quietly to myself. I mean, I enjoy Pirate King, but Kounosuke has a point. It doesn't seem like there's ever going to be an end. You should start reading a real series. He browses around before grabbing something off the shelf. Like Fatal Diary! Death Note. On the cover, I see an orange-haired fox boy standing back-to-back with a hunched-over, dark-haired cat with sullen eyes. In the background, there's an evil-looking demon looming over the two. Wow, that's a blast from the past. Kounosuke and I used to read that all the time when I still lived here. Really? Fatal Diary? I tried reading that one time. I found it way too pretentious for my tastes. That's true. Kinda went off the rails there near the end. You take that back, Tono! I can't help it, that's the way I feel. Honestly, I don't really read Jump anymore. Yeah, Shonen Jump. I don't really read Shonen Jump anymore. I have zero frame of reference because I've never read One Piece or Death Note. About the only manga that I've actually sat down and read were the fucking Zelda manga. And a bit of Naruto and Dragon Ball. But granted, I'm a whore for Dragon Ball, so like, whatever. Can't help it, that's the way I feel. Nuh-uh! No way. This has to be settled right here. Hiroyuki! Great. I was hoping I wouldn't get drawn into this argument. My friends seem to like putting me on the spot, don't they? You're a manga fan too. Which one do you think is better? Pirate King? Fucking One Piece? Death Note? Or neither? I already know the correct answer, but like, One Piece, Death Note, or fucking Berserk or Attack on Titan or some shit. Attack on Titan is good though. I watched the entire series. It is good. I already know the correct answer. It's my husband's favorite. Death Note. I fold my arms behind my head and lean back. Jeez, is it even a contest? Fatal Diary, Death Note. Hands down. Kounosuke laughs and gives me a thumbs up. I knew you had good taste, Hiroyuki. Oh. I shrug my shoulders. Sorry, Taro, it's hard to compete with a classic. There's something about a sophisticated, intricate plot that really draws me in. Hold up. Tanuki got that ass. That's what it's called. Kounosuke laughs and gives me a thumbs up. I knew you had good taste, Hiroyuki. Oh. I shrug my shoulders. Sorry, Taro, it's hard to compete with a classic. There's something about a sophisticated, intricate plot that really draws me in. It's the attention to detail that makes a work of art, in my opinion. Taro stares at me as if I were insane. Are you reading the same manga? That series had plot holes so big my mom could drive her car through them. Simple minds cannot accept the brilliance that is Fatal Diary. Huh, Hiroyuki? I hope he realizes at this point we're just messing with him. Remember the part where Kiba finally got the upper hand on his rival M? Oh yeah, I couldn't believe they had the guts to kill him off like that. It was crazy. Taro clears his throat and puts his hands up in front of himself. Okay guys, I think I'm gonna head out. I have to get back to the Yushima Inn and help out my mom. Really? That's too bad. It was good seeing you here, Sotaro. Glad to know there's another one of us that likes manga. Same here. See you guys later. Taro grabs the book he came for and heads for the cashier. Bye, Taro. Waves back at us as he walks out the front door. So, Hiroyuki. It's been a long time since we talked about manga. What have you been up to? What have you been reading the last few years? Oh, you want to know, huh? A mischievous smile crosses my face. You're gonna have to buy me lunch first. You heard me! I walk up to the bookshelf and pick out a few manga. They're slightly old. In fact, I think I saw this particular one in Osaka before I left. Yeah, whatever. It's still stuff I haven't read yet. Only have enough money to buy this, though. Shaking my head in amusement, I smile at my friend. You know I'm kidding, right? Let's finish up here and hang out a bit. I'll tell you all about the amazing stuff I've read lately. I pat him on the back as I start walking for the register. Yeah, okay. We set our manga down on the counter and place our money on the provided trays. Thank you for your purchase. The two of us smile and bow at the cashier before heading over to a nearby bench. As he sits down, Kounosuke glances over at me, his new manga already on his lap. I give him a grin before opening my manga and beginning to read it. Just like old times, we read our manga, taking brief breaks to discuss our favorite parts of the plot. After a while, I give a stretch before bidding the Tanuki farewell. Sadness is forever. My husband is no longer here. Kounosuke surprises me with an embrace before we part ways, leaving my cheeks a bit warm. I decide to take my manga back to my grandparents' house before heading out once again. Ah! It's nice being back in Minasato after our beach trip yesterday. I really don't want to be much of a shut-in. The fresh air feels so good! Besides, there's still so much for me to see. My vacation has only just begun. Take a deep breath with a smile on my face. Yep, I could get used to this. Though, maybe I'm getting a little too comfortable here considering I'm leaving in about... Hiroyuki! I feel a short figure jump up and wrap its arms around me from behind. I try shaking the thing off of me, but it seems to have latched on pretty tight. Get off me! With one last violent twirl, I manage to throw the creature off and notice it's actually... Shun? Are you okay?
Hey, what's the big idea? I'm just saying hi.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. I look down at the trembling wolf. I hope he's not mad at me. Yo, Hiroyuki. What now? Fancy seeing you here. What are you up to? I was taking a walk when I was suddenly jumped on by Shun.
But you still love me doing that, Hiroyuki. Me, Torihiko. I always used to jump on you because you were so tall back then.
Kuya shifts his glance to the side and tries to avoid eye contact. I don't remember doing that.
Why do things have to change? Why can't everything be the way it was before?
You know I agree with you, right?
Yeah.
You can't keep dwelling on the past. What's done is done. What's important is we keep our minds on the future. The husky places a hand on Shun's shoulder and flashes a wink. Besides, there's a lot to live for. We're still young. We've got everything in front of us still.
Kuya.
That doesn't mean we can't enjoy a bit of nostalgia every now and then.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't help but grin widely at Kuya's words. This whole trip has been nothing but nostalgia for me. Glad we could be there to give you that feeling, Hiroyuki. But don't forget to live in the moment either. Alright. Well, we better hurry to the bus stop, Shun. We don't want to be late.
That's right.
My eyes widen in surprise and I stare back and forth at each of my friends. Hey, wait a second. Where are you two going? Oh, you wouldn't know this. Shun and I take a monthly trip out to the Kazunari arcade. It's become one of our little rituals, I guess you can say.
Yep, we've been doing it for a couple years now. It's so much fun, Hiroyuki.
Right, it does sound like fun. Really? Kazunari has an arcade. I didn't think it was a big enough town for that. You could join us if you want. It'd be nice to have you along since we're only here for August.
There's so much to do there, I know you'll like it.
That doesn't sound half bad. I'd love to join you guys. I didn't have anything else planned for the day. I'm jealous of you, Hiroyuki. You have so much free time on your hands. Some of us have jobs, you know. Hey, I can't help it. Just a high school kid. Smirking at my cries of protest, Kuya brushes a hand through his hair. Still clinging to childhood. Must be nice to be so carefree. Shun frowns and stares up at the husky.
Kuya, I don't have a job either.
wasn't talking about you, Shun. Nuh-uh! You're not getting out of this one. I turned my attention to the wolf, a determined look on my face. My hands ball into fists and I feel as if I were an anime protagonist. Come on, Shun, let's get him! What? I'll grab his tail. I'll grab his tail. You can pin down his arms. Deal! Guys. Yeah! He's a woof. They're all woofs. Kind of.
There are pinball machines, pachinko booths, fighting games, rhythm games.
Shouldn't remember what I said about running to... Ugh. We're just gonna give Kuya what he wants. I think... Already press continue! Come back here and face me like a man, Hiroyuki. Shun is a monster when it comes to competitive games. I told you not to pick a fighting game. Don't rub it in! Okay, let me show you what I did. Alright. Let me push that back so you can see my microphone. All I did was just grab my microphone. That's it. That's all I did. Just grab my microphone. Don't rub it in! Hold my fist out towards Kuya. Think it's like wind going into like the microphone part of the mic. He slinks back and leans against the wall behind us again. I'm sure he's enjoying every minute of this. Pick your character, Hiroyuki. Giving a mic jack. Giving a mic job. Next thing we know, the mic's gonna start moaning. Pick your character, Hiroyuki. It's time to face your doom. I can't beat him with my main character, so what if I try? You're a Ryudo player now? Perfect! I eat them for breakfast. What? Before I have a chance to react, Shun picks a perfect counter to my character. That's not fair! Behind me, I can hear Kuya snorting to himself. Oh boy, this is gonna be a quick match. After getting demolished by Shun multiple times, I convince him to do something else. We're gonna get Kuya that guitar. Get Kuya that guitar again. Shun, what about? You won't have to do it alone, Hiroyuki. I've got some business to take care of. He doesn't break eye contact with the cat for a second. Okay then. Shun is terrifying. Sorry, Kuya gets the money. Knowing what I know about his sleep problems, wouldn't it be a bad thing to wake him up? I nod quietly, remembering Kyoji telling me this himself. Should we join them or head home? Join the little baby children or head home? Gonna turn us into dust, that little gremlin. Shun's just straight up gonna murder us. Like, one of these... Now that I think about it, I've never pondered what it is that Kyoji does when he can't sleep at night. Like, legitimately, I am convinced that one morning, we're just going to wake up and Shun is... Like, we are going to go to bed and Shun is just going to stab us to death in our sleep. He's just going to stab us to death in our sleep and we'll never see it coming. Thanks a bunch, Hiroyuki. It's so mean-spirited. But Shun is like 5 foot.
It's time to drink
he
water.
Is not doing shit.
It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water.
Let me explain my logic.
It's time to drink water.
Obviously, we had to drink. Let me explain my logic. If I'm not mistaken, height is relative. Like, if we go by screen size. Let me use my avatar as an example. Okay, so, he's short. He's about as tall as an Animal Crossing character. Shun is about eye level with us, which means we are the same height as Shun. Yeah, I have legs. Pretty sure I have legs. Version 3 didn't have legs. In fact, this is actually the first Theta version to have legs. How embarrassing. I can't believe I had such an erotic dream about Kounosuke. Crap, I shouldn't be thinking about it. Oh, I'm just making the situation worse. Hiroyuki, are you awake, dear? I gulp as my grandmother knocks on the door and calls out to me. Yeah, I just had a weird dream. I rub the back of my neck, doing my best to forget about the dream I just woke up from. It doesn't work. I hear my grandmother shuffling on the other side of the door. She's undoubtedly waiting for some reassurance, so I clear my throat. I'm fine, Grandma. I'll be up in a moment, Kay? Can't really tell, but it sounds like... Is she laughing at me? No worry, dear. I'm just about to make breakfast. It'll be ready soon. I hear her footsteps as she walks away and breathe a sigh of relief. I'd hate to have to explain this predicament. With a soft groan, I stretch, willing myself to forget what I just woke up from. Maybe a shower will help? Giving a slight smile, I get out of bed and bring some clean clothes with me into the bathroom. I sigh as I let the water run across my body, washing the shampoo through my fur. Guess I have been overdoing it a bit lately. Mumbling softly to myself, I focus on getting clean. Feeling clean and refreshed, I walk into the kitchen, my tail swishing. Good morning, Grandma. Oh, Hiroyuki. Good morning. Good timing. Her own tail's swishing, Grandma looks at me with a grin. She turns and carries a plate of food over to the table. I can't but smile as my eyes rest on the food. Ranged on the plate is a small bowl of rice, miso soup, grilled fish, and fresh vegetables. I always loved Grandma's traditional breakfasts. They're a nice counterbalance to all the junk food I've been eating lately. This looks delicious, Grandma. I give my own grin as she smiles proudly at my praise. Pulling out a chair, I'm just about to sit down. Dear, breakfast is ready! I wince and cover my ears at the sound of my grandmother's yell. I can't but wonder if the neighbors are used to it by now. It's about time. As Grandpa enters the kitchen, he gives a cheeky smirk. Grandma just gives him a half-hearted glare as he slowly sits at the table. As she places his plate of food in front of him, he tilts his head up and gives her a kiss on the cheek. It looks delicious as always, Grandma smiles, her cheeks going a pale pink. I can't help but smile as she sits down across from him. Nice save, Grandpa. My grandparents both look at me, then back at each other before sharing a chuckle. Oh, Hiroyuki. This is something we've always done. It's part of our daily routine. Yes, your grandmother and I believe that a bit of fun is an important part to a healthy marriage. I nod as I scoop some rice into my mouth. Now that I think about it, I do remember the two of them teasing one another, even when I was a child. Back then I thought they were really arguing, but now that I'm older, I can see just how much they still love each other. I pause for a moment and stare blankly at my food. Ever since I realized my difference, I've wondered if I'll ever get to experience something like my grandparents have with each other. Once again, my dream begins to resurface in my mind, but I try my best to push it away. Best not to go there, Hiroyuki. You're only going to make things messy. Grandma, as I look up for my breakfast, I force on a smile. I don't want to worry my grandparents after all. Is it, dear? I widen my smile and rub the back of my head. I was wondering if you had any errands for me to run today. Grandma and Grandpa both look at each other in surprise before turning back to face me. Your grandfather and I were going into town to fetch a few things, so I can do it for you. Once again, they glance at each other before Grandpa grins. He looks back at me and nods. Well, now, this is a nice surprise. Thank you for the offer, my boy. We'll leave it to you, then. I flash a thumbs up and return to eating my breakfast. Hopefully these errands keep my mind occupied. They won't. After finishing breakfast, I help Grandma by cleaning the dishes. My tail absently swishes behind me as I finish drying the last plate. Humming to myself as I put the dishes away, I turn around to see Grandma walking over to me with some paper. Here, Hiroyuki. This is the list of things we were going to do today. Don't push yourself too hard, okay, dear? I flash her a wide grin and nod my head. Don't worry, Grandma, I won't. Also, you might want to take an umbrella. Looks like it might rain. As I nod, Grandpa lets out a chuckle. You fuss too much. The weather will clear up. Sin City. I extend my arms in front of me. Aha! My hands wrap around something warm. I knew I'd find something. I just have to... Eh? My eyes fling open, and that's the sound of a familiar cry. Tora? Did we just grab Torihiko's tits? Did we just grab and squeeze his tits? Damn, now our hands are covered in mustard. Tora? Could you let go of my tail, please? Oh, we grabbed his tail. Oh, sorry. I look down while my hands are wrapped around. Sure enough, I see Torihiko's striped tail. How did that even happen? I'd rather touch my husband's tits. Thanks. What are you doing all the way out here, hero? I can see your fur through the t-shirt you're wearing. Grab his tail and spin him like Bowser. So long, gay Tora. He laughs and points a finger at me. He's right. How embarrassing. I was, trying to get out of the rain. You got caught in it too, huh? Look at Torihiko in response. His favorite red shirt is soaked through just like mine. I guess so. It figures my dad would send me to do errands on a rainy day. Didn't even bring an umbrella. I knew I wasn't crazy. The weatherman said it'd be sunny today. Where did you hear that? I just thought I'd beat the rain. What's your excuse? Oh. Suddenly it hits me. That's what I was trying to remember. Damn it, Grandpa. You said the weather would be fine today. Grandma even told me to bring an umbrella. That's the last time I listened to you when it comes to weather. Never mind that. You're such a dumbass, Hiroyuki. Hey, that's not nice. He smiles as he sits down next to me on the bench. I notice he has a bag in his hand that he places on the floor to the side. What's in the bag? My dad needed me to pick up some ingredients for him. I think we have an important guest coming to the inn soon. Hope it didn't get too wet. The last thing I want to bring home is soggy food. The rain started coming down hard when I left the store. I thought I'd take a shortcut through the park. Then I saw you here under the gazebo. Well, I'm running errands for my grandparents today, too. Looks like we're in the same boat, huh? Yeah, you're right. He slaps me on the back while laughing. Jeez, Tora! Ow. Sorry. I smile at him in return. His gaze wanders out to the old playground. Hey, I've got an idea. We're already wet. He stands up from the bench and grabs my hand, lifting me up onto my feet. What? Come on. He drags me back out in the rain. Tora! What are you doing? I don't want to be standing in the rain again. No, lighten up. It's just water. Tora leads me to the old seesaw. Get on. Why? Just do it. He runs to the other side and jumps into position. Pointing at the seat in front of me, he smiles and nods. What's the use in fighting with him? He's right. It's just a little rain. Alright, this is gonna be awesome. The two of us start jumping up and down the seesaw, alternating between lifting us up in the air. You know, it's kind of nice to just let go for a bit. It's fun. Just like when we were younger, right? Yeah. I miss the things we used to do when we were kids, Tora. Who says we have to stop just because we're older? There's nothing wrong with having fun once in a while, Hiroyuki. Yep, still the same old Torihiko, even if his body has grown. You really haven't changed. I guess I'm young at heart, huh? Ha! You take a lot of influence from your Uncle Takeshi, don't you? Where do you think I learned this stuff? Ha! When his side of the seesaw reaches maximum height, he jumps off and starts running for the swing set. Come on, there's somewhere to play with out here. I carefully dismount and follow him. Get on, I'll push you.
Eh?
Knowing Tora, this could end badly for me. Okay. Be gentle. What was that?
Eh?
Before I know it, I'm flying into the air. Tora! Please! I'm not good with heights. After messing around on the playground for a bit, the two of us decide to relax on the jungle gym. I'll admit, that was pretty fun. I've missed this. We lay together on the steps, watching the clouds drop rain from above. He grows strangely quiet after a while. I turn my head to face him. What's something wrong, Tora? I've always wanted a brother, Hiroyuki. Hmm? Huh? Where's this coming from? It wasn't easy growing up an only child. When you were still around, I didn't notice it as much. What about Uncle Takeshi? I love my uncle, but he's still my uncle. As much as I'd like to, I could never be as close to him as I was with you. We used to do everything together, remember? He lets it alongside, then sits up, placing his hands on his knees. Your friendship meant the world to me, Hiroyuki. No matter what, even when Kounosuke wasn't around, you were always there. Then, one day you weren't. I don't know how to respond to that. It hurts finally getting to hear Torihiko's honest feelings about me moving to Osaka. He turns to face me once again. You said we'd always be together. I'm hit with a sudden flood of memories. Hiroyuki? Hang on, I'm grabbing something. The fuck fell? I don't know. It was a rainy day, much like today. School had just finished. Tor and I were waiting to be picked up by our parents. Must have waited for hours. Neither of them showed up, leaving us to sit alone on the school steps in the rain. I remember I started to cry. Then Torihiko stood up and faced me with his chest puffed out. Who needs them? We can walk home ourselves, Hiroyuki. Taking my hand, he led me out into the soft drizzle, which became a downpour as we approached the park. It's raining harder, Tora!
Quick, let's hide somewhere.
Running as fast as our little legs would take us, we took shelter under the gazebo. With a solemn look, Tora held his hands behind his head and looked out as the rain came pouring down. It was almost like watching a waterfall. Looks like we're going to be here for a while. He walked up to the bench I was on and sat beside me. Then he turned to me with a smile. At least we're in this together, huh, Hiroyuki? I remember laughing with him, then standing up in a triumphant pose. I know what we should do. Hey, let's get married someday, Torihiko. Hiroyuki, that way we'll always be together. Hiroyuki! I return once more to reality. Torihiko's holding both my shoulders, trying to get my attention. You okay, Hiroyuki? Kinda lost you there for a bit. Oh, I was just thinking. Eh? You know, if I told him, it would just make things awkward between us. Maybe I'll keep it to myself. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced it would be a terrible idea. Never mind. It's nothing. I shake my head as he removes his hand from my shoulders. Yeah, sure. I can see the disappointment written all over his face, but I can't tell him what I remembered. Next thing I want to do is make everything awkward. I lean back against the steps again and look at the sky. I'm like fluffing my beard right now. I'm like doing stream and fluffing my beard at the same time. And it is so much fun. Hey, it looks like the rain's letting up. Yeah. He stands up from the jungle gym. Would you like me to walk you home? Oh? I consider his offer, but then remember the errands I still need to do for my grandparents. Sorry, but there's a few things I need to do while I'm out here. Huh. He looks so disappointed right now. Well, I guess that's okay. I need to get back home myself. I have ingredients to drop off. But I'm glad we got to hang out today. Me too. It was a lot of fun. I swish my tail happily and flash a thumbs up. I'll see you later, Hiroyuki. Bye, Tora. He waves at me while walking back to the gazebo to pick up the bag he left. My mind returns to the memory from earlier. I can still feel those little tiger arms wrapped around me, holding me in a loving embrace. Kounosuke and Yukiharu said you were in town, but man, I can hardly believe my eyes. He gives me a big smile as he puffs out his chest with his hands on his hips. How's all Osaka treating you? I hate that question. It's going well, I guess. I've been down there a few times to pick up parts. It's quite the city, isn't it? If you say so. Osaka may be where I live now, but I can hardly call it home. What brings you back to Minasato? I decided to visit for the month. I wanted to see all my old friends again. Before you graduate, huh? He looks at me with concern in his eyes. I know the feeling. I remember when I first moved out here with my parents, it was so hard to say goodbye to all the friends I made. I ended up doing the same thing you are in my last year of high school. Really? I don't think I've heard this story before. He scratches underneath his chin. Yeah, that's when I first fell in love with my wife. There's something magical about that kind of trip, you know? Huh? He stares off in the distance, clearly losing himself in his memories. Oh, sorry about that. Shaking his head, his attention returns to me. I shouldn't be taking so much of your time like this. Are you looking for Kounosuke? Actually, sir, I was wondering if you could fix something for me. Take off my backpack and place it on the counter. My fan's been broken since I arrived. I got it working briefly yesterday, but a broken fan is a terrible thing in the middle of summer. He winks at me as he lifts the fan out of my backpack. I'll have it ready for you by this evening, free of charge. But no, I couldn't. Nonsense, it'd only take a couple tweaks here and there, nothing that should cost money. Besides, what kind of father would I be charging a friend of his son's like that? Thanks, Mr. Kuri. He moves the fan onto a shelf behind him, and turns back and leans on the counter. I'm sorry, sir, I couldn't help but overhear your argument earlier. Look of shock crosses Mr. Kuri's face. What? He covers his face with his hand, then shakes his head. We've been having trouble with Kounosuke lately. I'll admit, I kind of wanted to see if he was home too. My wife checked his room earlier. I guess he snuck out. He shrugs. I'm trying to figure out what he's up to, but so far I've got nothing. You've been hanging out together, right? Do you know anything? Sorry, I'm just as confused as you are. He grows quiet as he looks down at the floor. An idea seems to pop into his head. He closes his eyes and gives me a thumbs up. Hiroyuki, can I ask you a big favor? I know that look. It's the same one Kounosuke gets when he's up to something mischievous. I've never really been comfortable snooping around in my son's room, but you two are best friends, aren't you? There's no way to ever hate you for that. Could you, take a look around Kounosuke's room for me? Wow, he's right. That is a big favor he's asking. Mr. Kuri. He holds both his hands together and slightly bows his head. Please? Why does this feel familiar? That exact moment here, the front door slide open behind me. An older-looking husky walks up to the counter. Never saw him much, but I'm pretty sure this Kuya's dad. Is this a bad time, Hyosuke? Mr. Kuri breaks out of his pleading stance in a hurry and tries to regain his composure. Mitsuhisa, what a surprise. He walks up to the counter and gives me a sidelong glance. He places a large guitar-shaped container in front of us. I need to have this repaired. Of course, no problem. Just give me one moment, please. Mr. Kuri walks out into the hall and waits for me to follow him. Once again, he bows his head and starts begging. Please, Yuki, you've got to help me out here. I'm desperate. I have no idea what's wrong with my son. It's starting to scare me. His voice quivers a bit at the end. You're asking for a major violation of trust, Mr. Kuri. Ooh. Let me finish fluffing my beard. And also Google what the hell I'm supposed to do. I know! I get to be in my husband's room! It's amazing! On one hand, I'd be violating my husband's trust and privacy. But on the other hand, I'd be in my husband's room. But he would hate us. I don't know what to do. Let's help my father-in-law. I'm gonna Google the answer. I'm gonna Google the answer. Yeah, if he doesn't find out. His shoulders fall as he starts walking back to the stop. I run back through my memories so far. The more I think about it, the more I realize something's been off about Kounosuke's behavior. I know he's been acting like his usual self, but I can't help but feel there's something more going on beneath the surface. He's so distant lately. Mr. Kuri? He stops and looks back at me. I'll do it. You will? Yeah. You're right, there is something wrong, and I want to help figure it out. Look of sheer relief passes over Mr. Kuri's face, then he starts jumping up and down. Thank you! Grabs my hands and starts shaking them. This means a lot! Here, this should unlock his bedroom door. Mr. Kuri reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small metal key. Try not to make a mess, okay? I don't want him thinking his mother and I are snooping around. But you are, aren't you? Correction! He points a finger at me. You are! With that, he disappears around the corner. Great! What have I got myself into? Having the brush to further fluff my beard. Tanuki on the prowl. I carefully make my way into Kounosuke's room. Wow, this is super nostalgic. I haven't been in here since I moved away. Just hang out all the time playing computer games and reading manga together. I shake my head. There's no time to reminisce. I've got work to do. Now, where should we look? I want to name these. I think we have to do all of them, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a poll, and we're going to decide which one first. Yeah, I went there. my husband sleeps. Fucking love where my husband sleeps. Because he sleeps there. I'm sounding like a stalker. Trying to sound kind of stalkerish. Let's hide under the bed while he sleeps. The walls are calling. You know what? The walls is going to be one of them. The walls. They want your pirate. They can stay the fuck away from my One Piece manga. Alright, so we're gonna check out where my husband sleeps, the walls, and what's the third one that we're checking out? We're gonna check out where my husband sleeps first. Where do teenage boys usually hide things? Well, I know it hides stuff under my mattress. Maybe he has something under his... Nothing. It's kind of surprising, actually. Guess he's not that predictable. The walls are next. My attention shifts to the walls. Practically every space is filled with some sort of anime or manga poster. It's quite impressive. I even recognize a few of them. Nothing really stands out to me, though. Hanging slightly over his bed is a map of the world. To get closer, I notice there are several areas that have been marked with a pen. Interesting. Wonder what he does with that. And where next? The desk, computer, bookshelf, or closet? We're going to stop it for the ad. Want to break from the ads. Well, the walls called, and the walls did not answer. Into the closet. We're not gay anymore, just kidding. I forgot. The ad's running. His search history. We're gonna see all that weird fox stuff. The fucker watches. I should check his closet. Well, I don't know what I expected. There's nothing but Kounosuke's clothes in there. Walk into the center of the room in fold arms. Ugh, this isn't working out. Can't find anything. Look back at his desk. I realized he didn't try checking his drawers for anything. Grabbing his chair, I take a seat and start exploring. Open the top drawer. Huh. See a stack of photos on top of a series of nature magazines. Hey, some of these are pretty good. Started by the sound of rustling bushes outside Kounosuke's window. Now it sounds like someone's fiddling with the lock. Crap! It's him! Yeah, he's gonna find me sitting in his room! I need to get out of here! I quickly but carefully put the photos I'm looking at back in the drawer and close it. I'm about to slip out of his bedroom door before I hear the window slide open. Woo! With a quiet turn of the key, Kounosuke's room is once again locked, leaving everything exactly the way it was before I entered. I'm lucky he kept the blinds down, or else I probably would have been caught. Now to find Mr. Kuri. As I walk back into the shop, I notice Mr. Altsuki is also here. Still here. I trust my instructions were clear. Of course, Mitsuhisa. It's in good hands. Then I shall take my leave. With a bow, Mr. Altsuki turns and leaves through the front door. Mr. Kuri folds his arms in sighs. Ooh, that guy's intense. Notices me walking off from the hall as he puts the guitar case behind the counter. Oh, Hiroyuki. Did you find anything? I'm sorry, sir. I shake my head. I doubt what he's looking for is some pictures in Kounosuke's drawer. He looks down at the floor in disappointment. We're snapped out of it when we hear Kounosuke's door unlock. Quick, act natural! I dash around to the other side of the counter and start acting like I'm talking to Mr. Kuri. So tell me a bit more of this fan of yours. Hiroyuki? I didn't know you were here. Why didn't anyone try to tell me? There you are, Kounosuke. We did. You must have been asleep, son. Oh. That's right. I guess I dozed off listening to the rain outside. I look at Mr. Kuri. His expression tells me he's thinking the same thing I am. What a liar. What you doing here on a rainy day? My fan's been broken since I arrived. I figured now's a good time to get it fixed since your dad's back in town. It's gonna take me some time to fix, though. Ah. In that case, did you want to hang out today, Hiroyuki? I could show off some of the games on my computer, we could check out my manga collection. Well, I wanted you to watch the store for a bit, son, but since Hiroyuki's only visiting for a short time, he smiles at the both of us. You boys have fun, alright? Mr. Kuri, being the permissive parent he is, lets Kounosuke get away with it. Thanks, Dad. Hiroyuki, I should have your fan fixed by this evening. Does that sound okay? That'll be perfect, Mr. Kuri. Thank you so much for doing this. Come on, Hiroyuki, let me show you around my room. My eyes meet with Mr. Kuri's as I round the corner with the sun. He nods at me. He's lying and we're lying. I'm just spending the rest of the day hanging out with Kounosuke. Too chicken to ask him what he was doing all morning. Thankfully, the weather seems to have cleared up a bit. Still drizzling, but that's much better than the downpour from earlier today. Swishing my tail happily, I can't help but grin. Thankful that I managed to get all of the chores done. Especially considering I spent so much time hanging out with Kounosuke. At least the fan was able to be fixed. As around the bend, my mind returns to this morning's mishap, causing me to stop in my tracks. Damn it, what's wrong with me? This dream just won't leave me alone. I need to think of something else. Anything at all would... Hi, hero. The crowd unsurprised, almost dropping my umbrella. Turning to face the source of the voice, I immediately relax. We're gonna leave off here tonight. I fucking love my husband. I love my husband. He is amazing. Stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.